Chapter 31. Jacob found out that Laban's sons were saying the following. Jacob is taking everything that belongs to our father. It is at the cost of our father that he is getting rich. Jacob also noticed that Laban was no longer as friendly as before. Then the Lord God said to Jacob, "Return to the land of your fathers where your relatives are. I will be with you." Then Jacob sent to call Rachel and Leah, so that they would come to the field where he was with his sheep and goats. When they arrived, he said, "I have noticed that your father is no longer as friendly as before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know very well that I have worked hard for your father, but he has deceived me and has changed my wages about 10 times.
However,
God did not allow him to harm me. When he said, 'The spotted goats will be your wages,' then the females bore spotted offspring. And when he said, 'The striped goats will be your wages,' then the offspring came out all striped. That is how God took the flocks of your father and gave them to me. One day when the animals were at the mating season, I had a dream. I saw that the rams mating with the females were striped, speckled, and spotted. The angel of God called me by name, and I answered, 'Here I am.' Then he continued, 'Look, all the rams that are mating are striped, speckled, and spotted. I am making this happen, because I have seen what Laban is doing to you. I am the God who appeared to you at Bethel, where you dedicated a stone to me by pouring oil over it, and where you made a promise to me. Now get ready. Leave this land and return to the land where you were born.' Then Rachel and Leah answered, 'There is nothing left for us to inherit from our father. He treats us as if we were foreigners, even sold us, and then spent all the money he received as payment. All the wealth that God took from our father is ours and our children's. Therefore, do everything that God told you.' Jacob got ready to return to Canaan, where Isaac his father lived. He made his children and his wives mount the camels, gathered everything he had, and left. Taking all the animals he had gained by his work in Mesopotamia, Laban, Rachel's father, had gone to another place to shear his sheep. And while he was away, Rachel stole the household gods from his house. That is how Jacob, without warning that he was leaving, deceived Laban the Aramean, fleeing with everything he had. He crossed the Euphrates River and headed toward the hill country of Gilead. 3 days later, Laban found out that Jacob had fled. He gathered his relatives and went after Jacob. 7 days later, Laban caught up with Jacob in the hill country of Gilead. That night, God appeared in a dream to Laban the Aramean and said, 'Be careful, do not do anything to Jacob.' Laban caught up with Jacob in the hill country of Gilead, where he was camped. And Laban and his relatives camped in the same place. Then Laban said to Jacob, 'Why did you deceive me, taking my daughters as if they were prisoners of war? Why did you deceive me, fleeing like this, without telling me anything? I would have prepared a joyful farewell party, with songs accompanied by tambourines and harps. You did not even let me kiss my grandchildren and my daughters. What you did is foolish. I could have harmed you greatly. But last night, the God of your father told me, "Be careful, do not do anything to Jacob. I know you left because you missed your home, but why did you steal the household gods from my house?" Jacob answered, "I was afraid, for I thought that you would take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find your gods with anyone here, that person will be put to death. Our relatives are witnesses. If you find anything here that belongs to you, you may take it." Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the gods. Laban entered Jacob's tent, then Leah's tent, then the tents of the 2 female servants, but he did not find his gods. Then he went into Rachel's tent. He searched everywhere, but found nothing, because Rachel had put the gods inside a camel's saddle and was sitting on them. She said to her father, "Do not be angry with me for not standing up, but I am menstruating." That is how Laban searched for the gods, without finding them. Then Jacob became angry. He said to Laban, "What wrong have I done? What law have I broken for you to chase me with such anger? Now that you have rummaged through all my belongings, did you find any object that is yours? Put these objects here, in front of my relatives and yours, so that they may judge which of us is right. During the 20 years I worked for you, your sheep and goats never had miscarriages, and I did not eat a single ram from your flock. I never brought you animals killed by wild beasts, but I paid for the loss myself. You charged me for any animal stolen during the day or night. That was my life. By day, the heat consumed me, and by night I was freezing. And how many nights I spent without sleeping. I stayed 20 years in your house. I worked 14 years to get your 2 daughters, and 6 years to get your flocks. Still, you changed my wages about 10 times. If the God of my ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God whom Isaac feared had not been with me, she would have sent me away empty-handed. But God saw my suffering and the work I endured, and last night he resolved the matter. These daughters are mine, the grandchildren are mine, these animals are mine, everything you are seeing is mine. Now, since I cannot do anything to keep my daughters and the sons they bore, I am willing to make an agreement with you. Let us make here a heap of stones to remember this agreement. Then Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. Then he said to his relatives, "Gather stones and pile them up." They made a heap of stones. And then they ate a meal beside it. Laban named that place Jegar-Sahadutha. Jacob called it Galeed. Then Laban said, "This heap of stones will serve so that we both remember this agreement." That is why that place received the name Galeed, and also the name Mizpah, because Laban said, "May the Lord God watch over us when we are apart from each other. If you mistreat my daughters, or if you marry other women, if I do not know what is happening, remember that God is watching over us. Here are the heap of stones and the pillar that I placed between us two. The heap of stones and the pillar are to remind us of this agreement. I will never cross beyond this pillar to attack you. You will not cross beyond this heap of stones. And this pillar to attack me, may the God of Abraham and the God of Nar be the judge between us." Then Jacob made an oath in the name of the God whom Isaac his father feared. He offered an animal as a sacrifice there on the mountain, and invited his relatives for a meal. That night they ate and spent the night on the mountain. The next morning, Laban got up very early, kissed his daughters and grandchildren, and blessed them, and then left. Returning to his land. Chapter 32. Jacob was continuing his journey when some angels of God came to meet him. When Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's camp." Therefore he named that place Mahanaim. Jacob sent messengers to the region of Seir, also called Edom, to meet Esau and give him this message: "I, Jacob, am at your service to serve you. During all this time I lived with Laban. I have cattle, donkeys, sheep, goats, male and female servants. I am sending this message to my lord, hoping to be well received." The messengers returned and said, "We were with Esau your brother. He is already coming to meet you, and he is coming with 400 men." When Jacob heard this, he was very afraid and became worried. Then he divided into 2 groups, the people who were with him, as well as the sheep, goats, cattle, and camels. He thought that if Esau came and attacked one group, the other could escape. Then Jacob made this prayer: "Hear me, O Lord, God of my grandfather Abraham and of Isaac. My father, I am returning to my land and to my relatives. I, your servant, do not deserve all the kindness and faithfulness with which you have treated me. When I crossed the Jordan River, I had only a staff. Now I am returning with these 2 groups of people and animals. O Lord, I ask you to save me from my brother Esau. I am afraid that he may come and kill me, and also the women and the children. Remember that you promised that everything would go well for me, and that my descendants would be like the sand on the beach, so many that no one could count." That night, Jacob slept there. Then he chose some of his animals to give as a present to Esau. He chose 200 goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 camels with their young, still nursing, 40 cows and 10 bulls, and 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. Jacob divided these animals into groups and placed one servant in charge of each group. And he gave this order: "You will go ahead, leaving a space between the groups." Jacob said to the first servant, "When my brother Esau meets you, he will ask, 'Who is your master? Where are you going? And whose animals are these that you are taking?' And answer like this: 'These animals belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift he is sending to his lord, Esau. And he is also coming behind us.'" Also to the second and third, and to all others who were taking care of the groups, Jacob said, "When you meet Esau, say the same thing. And do not forget to say this: 'Your servant Jacob is coming behind us.'" For Jacob was thinking, I will calm Esau with the gifts that are going ahead of me. And when we meet, perhaps he will forgive me." Thus, Jacob sent the presents ahead and spent that night in the camp. That same night, Jacob got up and crossed the Jabbok River, taking with him his 2 wives, his 2 concubines, and his 11 children. After the people had crossed, Jacob made everything he owned cross as well, but he stayed behind, alone. Then a man came and wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he could not win, he struck Jacob's hip joint so that it was dislocated. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is already dawn. Will not let you go unless you bless me." "What is your name, Jacob?" "Your name will no longer be Jacob. You have fought with God and with men and have prevailed. Therefore your name will be Israel. Now tell me your name." "Why do you want to know my name?" And there he blessed Jacob. "I saw God face to face, but I am still alive." Therefore he named that place Peniel. The sun rose as Jacob was leaving Peniel, and he was limping because of the blow he had received on his hip. To this day, the descendants of Israel do not eat the muscle that is at the hip joint, because it was in this part of the body that he received the blow.